All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the day three training program of ours. I believe everybody is settled down and you have practiced well with day one, day two, whatever the topics we have learned, and you're able to access the recordings, and there's no problem over there. Yeah, able to hear me? Can somebody confirm?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for the confirmation. So let's start with our day three program, people. As I told you already, that today we are going to deal with uh, like when you download the data from SAP or ERP, how to analyze the data, how to read our data, how to get the insights from the data and present it effectively to the audience. Okay. So for that, go to our sample case studies folder and there is a file called data analysis. Okay. So file name is called data analysis. Kindly open that. So file name is data analysis and the sheet name is called summary table. I believe the same is open in front of your screen. Kindly confirm with one line of message. Wait for yes in the chat box. All right. So file name is data analysis and the sheet name is called summary table. So let me take you through the data first so that everybody can connect with it easily. And then what is the objective we are going to achieve out of this? Let's have the discussion and then we start working together. Suppose say morning 9:30, I have dropped into office. My boss called me, Prabhas, please come to my cabin. I need to discuss something with you. So when I went to his cabin, immediately he started saying, there, Prabhas, I was going through all the reports, the monthly reports, whatever we are submitting to the management. It seems some ready-made numbers we have downloaded from our SAP or ERP, and we are trying to furnish our reports. And it seems that there is a quality of information is missing over there. All right. Now, what he's up to, let's discuss that also. So it seems like he's not quite happy with the reports what we are submitting to the management. And he has got some different idea or mindset. He's telling me, let's do something different this time. So what is that exactly he wants to do? So he is telling me, do one thing, just log into your SAP system and download last 3 years revenue data. So I gave my respective T code and I download near about 1 lakh records. It comes in this format. Now, what is the format? Like we have got customers, we have got product type or category, and these are the different products we are manufacturing or producing, or we are selling to our customers or dealers. You can take anything. And these are the salesmen we have engaged to generate the revenue for the organization. And these are the different regions we export our products. Order date is nothing but billing date or invoice date, you can say. Sales in terms of US dollar, we are making the billing. You can consider INR as well. Year of incurrence of sale, month, quarter, and intermediate channel partner, if any, that list is completely available over here. So it's a huge data if you look at. Now, 1 lakh records, when I download and I presented the same to my boss, he's not happy watching the same. Okay, he's not happy. And what he's saying, let me take it through. Something has gone wrong. Okay. So when I presented the same, he's not quite happy and he's saying, Pravas, this data is of no use for me. Do one thing, keep the data with you, and I want a summary out of this. During the last 3 years, whatever the products we have sold to our customers, how much revenue we have made, I want to have a simple report on that. Well, 1 lakh records are there, and my boss is expecting some kind of summary or a tabular presentation or a crispy presentations out of this data, and he is expecting me that I should revert with a report. Well, no doubt. So to summarize our data, we do have a data summarizing tool called pivot table or pivot table. Some of you might be dealing with already with pivot table, or it's not the first time you are dealing with, or might be some people that are going to work with our pivot table for the first time. Could be the case. But I would always suggest certain things, people. Here, what we make some common mistakes. Though we know, we are aware we need to go for pivot table, but we never pay attention for a while whether our data is ready for pivots. So going forward, we are not going to commit that mistake anymore. So for your better understanding, I would tell you one thing. This is the data of a car manufacturing plant called Tata Motors. We have taken. The data is not realistic. Don't go by the values or numbers. This is hypothetical data, and we have to prepare a summary out of this. Now, the question is, before creating a pivot or going for pivot table, what are the rules we need to satisfy? Rule number one, pivot table says that whenever you want to prepare a pivot, ensure your data must contain a column header. Without column headers, pivot is not possible. And none of the column header names should be duplicate. If you want to retain customer in two columns, you can retain, but the name should be customer, customer one, or customer or something else. You should not have the same name in both the columns. So this is our rule number one. Rule number two, the amount of data, whatever we have captured, there should not be any blank cells. But how to confirm that? If you recall, in day two, we discussed something about data cleansing techniques, right? So let's go for that. Keeping our cursor anywhere in the data, go for Control A, start working with me, Control A, and then go for Control G, G for Gamma, G for Goa,
Hi,
and
which sheet
yeah,
is this? I have because I was in the other link. So which sheet is this if you have to work at the
this
same
is
time?
the file name. The file name is data analysis.
Okay,
And when you open that file, there is a sheet called summary table.
okay, fine, thanks.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. So our rule number two, what I was telling you that this data, whatever you have taken or downloaded or received from someone, you have to ensure that there is no blank cells at all. But how to confirm? Selecting the entire data, go for Control G, G for Gamma, G for Goa. There is a tab called Special. Nothing new. We have already done all these operations in our day two as well. So going to that special tab, when you click it, go to special dialog box will appear on the screen where you could notice there is an option called blanks will be available. Yes. All of you able to recall? This is what something we have already done in our day two. Yes or no? Absolutely. Yes. So now going to click OK. So when you go for clicking OK, you will be finding a message. No cells were found. So this is a self confirmation for us that we do not have any blanks inside our data set. And what if there were blanks? We know the blank cells would have been selected and we could have replaced all those things with some kind of predefined text, zero, hyphen, nil, not available, not applicable, something like that. Correct? So in this case now, rule number two, we have satisfied. Now, rule number three, we have to ensure that in any of the column, data should not be merged. We should not have any merged data in any of the columns. Because most of the time, what is the bad practice we have in our routine activities, people, we consider multiple cells, we merge them, and we define a header for that. So that is meant for display, not for the calculations. Because in our Excel, most of our Excel functionalities doesn't read your merged data. So it is always better make a thumb rule, avoid using merged cells while working in Excel. Now, this is the third rule we have considered. So all the rules are clear, I believe. Now, our data is ready for next level. As I told you in day two, when you download the data from SAP or ERP, though it is IBM ERP, Oracle ERP, or SAP SuccessFactor, or SAP 4, SAP HANA, anything. There are two areas you'll always find the trouble. What are they? Number column will not be in number format. Date column will not be in date format. This is again nothing new. We have already discussed in day 2 called data clean 2, right? So here, what are we going to do? First, we'll keep our cursor in our order date column, first date value, and select the rest. Shift Control down arrow key. Then how to come back? When you select your data, you reach to the bottom. How to come back?
Shift
Control
back.
backspace.
Control
Very
back.
good.
Control backspace.
Control backspace. So when you come back, then you have to check whether our date is there in proper date format or not. The best practice. If you remember, I told you in day 1 and day 2 as well, to convert any format to date, what it was. I repeat, to convert any format to date format. What is the keyboard shortcut? Control Shift 3. So when you go for Control Shift and 3, when you apply, right? Do you see the respective changes on the screen? Your data is now in readable format. So this is a simple message. Since our date is in proper date format, that's why they said changes are happening and our date is completely cleaned. Okay. Similarly, when you go to sales USD, the billing column, keep your cursor in your first billing value and select the rest. Control Shift down arrow key to come back. Control backspace. So now the question is how to confirm whether my numbers are there in proper number format. So the best practice again, as we discussed already, I told you in day 2 to convert any format to number format. Control Shift 1. So when you go for Control Shift 1, can you see the respective changes like decimals are appearing, post decimal two characters also comes up before decimal, comma separators are also happening. So all these changes, since it is happening, it is a pretty much clear message for us that our numbers are there in proper number format. But post decimal having 00 null value characters doesn't make any sense. So how to remove that? I told you a keyboard shortcut for decrease decimal, Alt H9. Again repeat, Alt H9. So the thing what you do by going to home and decrease decimal, the same thing we can do it over here by quick keyboard shortcut Alt H9, right? So this is how two necessary columns must be checked whenever you download the data from SAP or ERP. And that also we confirm that all these values are working properly. Up to this clear, everybody is fine. Whatever we have discussed, anybody is having any questions, do let me know. Now, once we have done with this, the next step, if you look at in our data, we have some problems. I'm highlighting, just check it out. If you look at order date and year and month, you can find out what is the problem we have. So can somebody find out the problem? Right, mismatch of month column along with the year column. You can see our order date is showing of 2019 or 2019, but it is showing 2014. Order date month is showing January, but here it is showing December. So technically all these things are not possible, right? So we have to again take the action to rectify this. How? Take a look, year column. So I'll be returning my first value over the cells called year. Yeah. How to extract a year from a date? If you remember day 1, we discussed a formula naming called year. So when you go for year formula, this demands me the order date, serial number. I can take it. And now my first year is rectified. Okay. Now the same I can apply for others. So our year column is rectified. Nothing new. All these things we have discussed already in our day one. If you recall, kindly confirm your year column is rectified. Now, coming to our month column, keep your cursor in the first month value. Now, how to rectify the month column? So, if you remember in day one, we discussed a formula called text to extract a month from a date. So, you can see how to get it, like going to the value called order date and comma format text. We discussed already what is the date format we follow in Excel, DDMMYY or MMDDYY. And out of that, we have to focus with the month. So we need to define within two double inverted quotes M4 times so that it will be giving the complete string or name of the month. And the moment you go for this and hit enter, your first month is rectified. Now the same we can apply for others and we got our month also ready. So this is how we have understood that first 2 to 5 minutes is very, very essential to spend time in our data so that we can understand our data properly and we can have our control on our data when going forward. We are working with any other activities. We can establish our confidence on that and anything goes wrong, we can immediately trace it out also. All right. So how to read our data properly, what are the necessary columns to be checked, all these things we have discussed. Any doubt, any queries? All right, so our data is ready for next level now. So keep your cursor anywhere in the data and go for Control A. And remember one thing, convert your data into table. And I told you, what is the keyboard shortcut to convert your data into table? Anybody?
Control T.
Very good. So go for Control T. T for Tango, T for table, and a dialog box appears and you can click OK. So this is how the next level we have made our data ready. Now we need to prepare a pivot out of this. So to prepare a pivot, we need to go for one operation where we need to go to insert, keeping the cursor anywhere in the data and go to insert. The very first option you'll be finding pivot table. Okay. But here, take a look. If you are there in 2019 Office 365, or you are there in 2021 or 2024 version of Microsoft Excel, you will be getting two different section over here in pivot. So this is called your icon section, and this is called your navigation section. So don't go for the navigation section to create a pivot. Always go and click this icon. Now, if this is not to be updated, then why Microsoft has designed? See, this operation, I mean, this navigation button uses is having a different uses. It's not made for our normal pivot table. So whenever you have the data in Power BI and you want to prepare a pivot, or if you have the data in Power Pivot connections, you want to bring it over here, then you should go for these operations. So right now, since our data is just formatted to the table, go to Insert button, and there you go and click. Okay. So here, insert, going to pivot table, click the icon, and now this will ask you to a dialog box. So here, when you go for the dialog box, you don't need to do any changes on this, go and click OK. So you'll be finding a new Excel sheet will be generated over here. And then you can see towards your left, some kind of gray color box is there. And this is the place where your pivot is going to get designed. And within that, you see one box is there naming called pivot table 1. So it's a message for us that whenever you prepare a pivot table, it will contain a unique name. And this name is defined out of this. All right. Now towards my right side, you could see a column where the entire source data column headers are being populated. So this is called pivot table filled list box. Now towards my right side, if you see, we have got four boxes kind of structures, and these are called pivot table filled area. So we have only one job left over here. Whichever the field we believe this is essential for us, we need to just drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, and drag and drop. This is the only action we need to initiate. Okay. Okay, that's we are clear. But the question is, when I look at my layout and your layout, it is not matching. Do you agree with me? The layout, what I'm highlighting in my right side, it is not matching with yours. Do you all agree with it? Yes, no, right. Then how to get this kind of layout? So let's do that first because this layout is giving more space to work with. So first we need to bring this kind of layout. So what you can do, just see, there is a settings button over here. Settings, a gear kind of button, and this is called technical settings button. And when you click it inside, we have got the second option, field section and area section side by side. So when you go for this, what you will be finding exactly the similar format of layout over there on your right side of your pivot table. All right. So kindly confirm all of you have got the same structure. Fine. So now what do you need to do over here? We have only one job left. As I told you, we have to drag and drop. But the moment you are going to drag and drop a field, there also one rule you need to follow. So what it says, you can notice there is a sigma value one box is there. It's a simple message. Whichever the field you believe it is dealing with numbers or numerical values, you must bring it to the value field area. Reason? If you bring it in the value field area, you can play around with your formula and function based calculations. Like you can deal with your sum, average, count, maximum, minimum, product, anything you want, you can play around with the formulas over here. So let's focus with the report boss was demanding last 3 years revenue data with regard to multiple products. So revenue data means billing column. Billing column means sales USD. Is it containing numbers? Yes. So I told you you should place this two into the value field area, but how? Here people always go for opting for easy process. They go and just select the checkbox. I would say no, because this will not take you to your desired field ultimately all the time. So better have a control on your fields, drag and drop it. So sales USD, you can drag and drop it in the value field area. So you'll be having your revenue data ready. Then 3 years revenue data. Well, we do have a field called year that you take it to the columns. So you'll be having 3 year wise revenue data over here distributed to three columns. Now, if you do not like columns, you want to bring it to rows, you can bring it to rows also. It's up to you, depends upon the need. But now you can ask me a question, Prabhas, why did you prefer to take it to the columns, not the rows? Because we have got something else to bring into the row area. So what is that? Based on the product. So I'll bring product description to the row area and you could notice a beautiful pivot table with the exact summary of last 3 years data, the cars, whatever we was sold, and how much revenue we had made, everything we got it. And if you look at the total, it is showing 3199253. Kindly confirm all of you have got the same. Any difficulties, do let me know. Do one time practice in the training. Fine. Now, once we are ready with our pivot, no doubt it is the summary of last 3 years data, but take a look. This data is not ready for next level. Why? Because the look and feel of pivot is not so great. So as I told you in day one and day two as well, that nowadays our audience is bit having of, I mean, bit of having this high level of expectation that when you are presenting your data, they also make a note how you are presenting. So your formatting also plays a very great role. So you have to be a bit careful about your formatting part. So now taking a call on this, suppose this pivot is not giving a great look, what we can do? Keeping our cursor anywhere in the table, you could notice in our ribbon tab in extreme right, there is one design button will be activated. Then in this design tab, if you look at, there are many more styles that are also available. So go for the more button. This is called more button. And there you have to go for light, medium, and dark. I told you in day one already we have seen all these things and day two as well. So ideally, which one we should prefer? Light or medium? Why not dark? Why not the dark option? Can anybody state the reason? I told you already. No one. So it seems the practice was not good enough. I told you one thing that the more the dark colors, again, file size will be more. So this is the only reason why never ever take more dark colors in your Excel file. So here, we'll take one light or medium out of this, and the moment I click it, can you see it is giving me such a great look over here compared to the previous version of our pivot? So this is the first thing we should do. Now, take a look. This bold, Genix Nano, Hexa, Indica, what are they? They are nothing but my products. But if you look at, it shows me the row label as the column header. Similarly, 2019, 2020, and 2021, they are my years. But if you look at the header, it shows column labels. So now the question is how to regain the status of the column headers as it is instead of typing or making the changes of the values. So what you can do over here, keeping your cursor in even pivot, go to same design, and there's an option from the left third option called report layout. And when you go for report layout, then there's an option called show in tabular form. So when you go to show in tabular form with immediate effect, you'll be finding the exact field name, whatever we had, is it being populated over here as it is, right? So this is what the first thing you should do, people, the minimum formatting. And as I told you in day one, whenever you have multiple columns in place, the first column alignment always has to be left. Rest of the columns alignment always has to be center. And what is the keyboard shortcut for center? Alt H, A for alignment, C for center. Nothing but this activity home alignment center we have gone for our discussion in our day one, Alt H A C. Right now, once we have done with this, though our data is ready for next level, but still it is not sufficient. There is something missing. What is that? As I told you in day one and day two as well, that whenever you present your data, make sure your data speaks a beautiful story because nowadays the audience is having a different level of expectations from the presenter. So, how to exceed that expectation? What you can do, just go to our grand total column, keep your cursor in any cell and right click on that and go for sort largest to smallest. Just do this much. And the moment you hit enter, you will be finding with immediate effect that from the entire 3 year indica, we have got the maximum revenue, and from Jest, we have got the least revenue. So even if your Levin is also sitting in the meeting room, he can understand what I'm trying to present. Even if in my absence, my any of my teammate is presenting something to the people, people are not going to struggle what I'm presenting. Do you agree with it? So this is how people we have designed our first pivot table. Okay. Any difficulties, any questions from anybody before proceeding further? Feel free to ask. Don't feel shy. All right. So now the first sheet, that is sheet one, whatever it is written, please rename the way I'm doing. Just go and rename it as pivot, bracket open, one, bracket close. Right? Just type as it is, no space, nothing. And now, once you have typed it, just watch my screen. In this, the sum our pivot one, the sheet is there aligned next to the, I mean, towards your left side of your summary table data sheet. So if I ask you, please bring the same to the right side of summary table, what do? You just simply hold it and drag it to the right, isn't it? The same thing you have to do now, but holding the control button. Now take a look. If I go and select pivot one and holding the control button, can you see one more pivot is being generated over here called pivot two, right? So kindly confirm all of you have got pivot two ready. I got a confirmation from Sumit and Jagdish as well. How about others? All right. Now, once you get your pivot two, let's discuss what else we can do with pivot table. Take a look. I have presented this data to my boss. My boss is quite happy the way I have presented. Then immediately his expectation got started more. And what he's telling, just watch. He's telling Pravas, you have given me last 3 years revenue data. Perfect. And the products you have aligned in the horizontal mode. So this layout is giving a perfect clean picture for me to analyze the data. But you have given me only last 3 years revenue data. Yes. But I want to do some deep dive analysis. I want to do some macro level of analysis. Now, what is this deep dive analysis or macro level of analysis? Take a look. Year-wise data is there. Month-wise data we have to present, right? So that is called nothing but your macro level of analysis. So take a look. First of all, we need to think, do we have a field related to the month? Yes, we do have. The only thing is we need to bring it to the right place over here, people. So what we can do over here, this month field, we can bring it over here towards our row area. So you can notice our field is being populated with the month column. Of course, yes. Now, though we got month over here, people, one thing always remember, whenever you prepare a pivot, first you need to understand one thing. Always keep yourself in the audience shoes and try to understand what kind of message my pivot is going to give it to the people, or what kind of story I have designed so that people will be happy watching the same. All right. So guys, anybody's mic is on. Could you please mind keeping it off? If you have any questions, you can switch on your mic and speak. Else ensure your mic is on mute. All right. So now, in this case, Let's take a call. Boss had asked me, Pravas, give me 3 years data. Did I give it? Yes. He asked me immediately month-wise data I want to analyze. Did I give it? Yes. But as I see the larger picture over here, people, you can notice my entire report is still emphasizing upon product description. So that is still playing the primary role. Though month is there, but that becomes secondary. So we have all the information, but still it is not going to meet the expectations of the people. So how to deal with the same? Take a look. What you can do, if you look at your row area, month is there secondary and product description is there playing the primary role. Fine. So just hold this product description and bring it below to the month, and immediately the field will be switched and you have got your report ready. So this is how simply interchanging the fields, people, your entire pivot story changes. So taking the live data, you have to play around and which type of combinations of the data or the fields is going to satisfy my audience. You have to take your call on that. And that comes out of your experience and the practice. So in this case, now our data is ready for next level. Hope you got the same feel.
Ramaji, mine is coming a little different.
Okay, you can share your screen.
Yeah, the screen can be seen.
Right. I can see
So
your
this
screen. What month is
this
there
January
now?
month is coming here.
Right, you did not change the pattern. Okay, go to the design tab. In the top, design tab is there in the top, in the ribbon menu. In the ribbon menu, yes. Go to report layout. No, 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 no. Go for the along with my instructions. Please don't do that anything over there. There is a report layout from the left, third tab is there. Report layout in the same
Okay, here.
design. Yeah, there you go and choose show in tabular form. Third option.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I'm taking the control back on the screen and I believe now you all are in the same page so that you can understand your report the way I'm designing. Okay. Now, when I did this, my boss is quite happy and he was saying, yes, this is what I was looking for. Then his focus has gone to my data area. And he is looking at that and he can understand there are so many blank cells are there over here. Of course, so when this kind of blank cells are there, when you scroll it, people have got again a lot of questions in the mind. Why there are so many blanks? So what could be the reason? So if you look at, it seems that in 2019, in the month of January, with regard to Jest, we have never sold a single car on that. So that is your understanding because you are dealing with the report and you can come to know easily, correct? But the people who are watching my data, they cannot understand and they will keep asking this kind of unwanted questions. So just to stop people asking unwanted question, our duty is to replace all these blank cells with a predefined text called zero hyphen nil not available. Then only people will keep quiet, right? But how to do that? Find and replace will not work over here because it's a pivot table. It's not a normal Excel sheet data. So then how to deal with the same? I'll tell you a very beautiful technique. Just say, keeping our cursor anywhere in pivot table, if I go for right click on that, in the bottom, second option, you have got pivot table options. So when you go and click this pivot table options with immediate effect, it will take you to a dialog box. And when you can notice, there's an option called for empty cells show. One box is there. So you can go and hit 0 over there. You can type anything, hyphen, dash, NA, nil, but I would suggest you go for 0 since you are dealing with numbers. And the moment you hit 0 and click OK, with immediate effect, you will be finding the entire data wherever zeros we had, is it replaced with, or wherever the blanks we had, is it replaced with 0? Right, people? Hope all of you are getting the same. Any difficulties or anybody not get that option?
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I stuck somewhere actually in the pivot two table. Can I share my screen, please?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Just is it visible?
No, not yet. Share your entire screen or entire desktop.
Yeah, just is it visible now?
Yeah, now I can see.
Yeah, I stuck here, sir, in pivot two sheet totally. My table was missing actually.
Okay, first go to pivot 2. Go to pivot 2. You're in pivot 1 now.
Okay,
In pivot 2, right, bring your month in the row area.
month in the row. Just yes,
Now, interchange the field. Bring product description below to month in the same row area. First, no, 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 it is already there. Already there in the row field area. You have to bring it
yeah,
down just.
okay,
Right. Now, right click on pivot table. Right click on the pivot table anywhere
yeah,
and go for bottom second one, pivot table options.
yes, sir.
And then there is an option called for empty cells show. One box is there, empty cells show.
This one,
Yeah, yeah, that box, you keep the cursor in the box
yes,
and type 0 so that the blanks will be replaced with 0 and hit OK. And this is what we did. Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, sir.
fine. No problem. So I have just taken the control back on the screen, and I believe now we all are clear whatever we have done so far in our pivot table. Now, what is happening? Just stay focused on my screen. My boss started analyzing this data and he is looking at the product one by one. And when he's reaching to the last product, he is unable to make out which month that product is pertaining to. And again, he has to look back, then only he realizes that this is of January month. And this is not the way he tries to read the data. And he is not comfortable reading the data in this pattern. So, what he's saying, Pravas, why don't you fill this month column entirely with the month names so that any line item, any product I am dealing with, I could immediately make out which month that product is pertaining to. So if that is the case, if I start filling the data one by one, for first is the Jan, then again for Feb, like that, it will be taking a hell lot of time. And we don't have that much of time to do that copy paste work with each and every individual month. So how to get it done quickly? If you recall, in our day two, we had got some data fill techniques, right? So there we had to do a lot of operations like selecting the data, going for Control G, then blanks, then going for OK, and then equal to previous cell, Control Enter. There are a lot of exercise we did the other day. But here it is not needed because we are working in pivot. And pivot, it's very easy to deal with the same. So how to deal with that? Let's see. I'll take you a beautiful technique again. Just see. Keeping your cursor anywhere in the pivot table, go to Design tab. And in this Design tab, the moment you go for it, you will be finding there's an option called same report layout. In that fourth option, what it deals with, repeat all item labels. And the moment you go for that, now see the beauty, what happens? The entire month column, did you see it is getting filled with the month names? Check all these things are working. So this is how the story we have understood about pivot table number two people, how to take more than one field and interchange the fields if needed, how to deal with our blank cells in the pivot table, what is the role of our repeat all item labels in pivot table, we have seen that. So any doubt, any queries in pivot table number two, anybody? So is it clear? Can I take that? Okay. Thank you, Ashwin. No problem. Now, let us go for do one thing. See, select your pivot to sheet tab and holding the control button, drag it to the right. You got another pivot table naming pivot table number three. Okay. So now let us discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now suppose say my boss liked this report. Just watch my screen. No need to do anything. Just watch my screen now. He is telling Prabhas, this report pattern is really good. Taking last 3 years data, three columns, providing month in one column. That layout I like the most. But I'm done with product description. I am no more interested looking at the data based on the products. So now I am interested looking the data based on the customers. Rest of things will remain same. Only in place of product description, there should be the name of the customers. Well, so keeping the cursor anywhere in the data, what my boss is not interested in watching is product description. So go to product description and towards the left side of product description column, you could see one checkbox is there. You can simply deactivate and automatically product description will be gone. Well, now what my boss is expecting, customer. So do we have a field called customer? Yes. So bring that customer field into the row area and you got the similar report over here, people, as we discussed. Last 3 years revenue data with regard to the months and based on the customers now. So kindly bring the same structure.
Prabhas, actually my pivot option is not coming.
Keeping your cursor in the pivot, you will be getting that. If it is not coming up, do one thing, right click anywhere in the pivot table. In the bottom, you will be finding the list called show field list. Able to see?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
click
got
that.
it.
It will be available. All right. So pivot three, let's discuss what else we can do. Take a look. Our first customer is Alhamid Automobiles, right? Now,
You
suppose
can
say
just
my
share the
mom.
screen, Prabhas.
Okay. So now our first customer, if you look at it is Alhamid Automobiles, right? Now take a look, no need to do anything, just watch my screen. My boss started operating with this particular report and who is our first customer? Alhamid Automobiles. 2019, how much? No business. Fave, some business is there, good sign. In the month of March, there is no name at all. April, again, name is there, but there is no business over there. So likewise, the moment he wants to analyze the data for the whole year, he is unable to just make out at once. He has to scroll down a lot. He has to navigate a lot. And this is what my boss is not interested in seeing the report. Nobody will be happy, definitely. So what he's expecting, he is telling me, boss, you have given me the data, no doubt, but it is not giving a comfort zone to work with. Why don't you do something on this that whenever I open the file, it should give me the entire story. I no need to navigate a lot. I no need to scroll a lot over here, and it would be a better report. Well, if that is the case, then how to present it? Take a look. In our row area, we do have a month field, correct? So take this month field to the column area, and you'll be finding entire list of your customer details is appearing in one column. Yes. But how many columns we have landed up with, if you imagine, just see. So we have near about over here total 41 columns. Now, having this many columns, how to present our data? Now, suppose say my boss has never seen all these things. He asked me, Prabhas, while coming to my cabin, get me a printout. So how to take a printout of 41 columns? Even though I tried hard to take it out fit to page, what will be happening? All these 41 columns will appear, but it will not be in a readable format. So there is no point wasting the stationaries by taking the printout as it is. And moreover, here, the moment we present our data, people don't have time to go through such a lengthy expressions. Then how to present it? That is what the biggest question mark. So what you can do over here is in our column B, you can see there is a 2019 one cell is there in column B. Yeah. So going to that 2019 cell, right click on that. There will be an option over here called expand and collapse. And when you go to that expand and collapse, within that, when you navigate, the fourth option is dealing with collapse entire field. Yes. And when you click that with immediate effect, you will be finding your entire 3 years data just cleans to in 3 columns and having a plus symbol over there in the place. So these are called in the headers, these plus symbols are nothing but the radio buttons. So any point of time, anybody is interested to see only 2021 records, I can simply click on that plus symbol and 2021 records will be expanded. So what is happening? Immediately the people what they're interested in we are able to show, and we are not showing the unwanted information to the audience, and unwanted questions are also not going to come up. And once your presentation is over, click on that plus symbol again and data will be restored. So this is how we have understood how to work around with our expand and collapse buttons in pivot table and make a precise presentations of our data. Check it out. All these things are working. Any doubt, any queries, anybody? Feel free to ask. So I got to confirmation. How about others? Any difficulties? Feel free to ask. All right. Now, once we have done with this, see, whatever we have done so far, anybody can do that. It's a simple right click options are available. So nothing great or something extraordinary. We did it that our audience will be quite happy and they will be appreciating our work. But now the time has come how to make our presentation different from others, or what kind of value addition we can give it over here so that people would be happy watching the same. So what we can do over here is you can notice. So first watch my screen, what I'm doing, observe, and next 1 minute I'll be giving time to try. Don't worry. So first observe my screen. What I'm doing now, I'm just going to a new column naming called visual. Now to give that a feel, this particular column is pertaining to our pivot table or forming part of pivot table. What I need to do, I'll select grand total and I'll go to home. Over here, there is a format painter, one paintbrush option is there. We know that how to use it. So I'll click it and I'll go to my visual cell. Okay. Now, what I'll do, I'll select only my first customer's 3 years data. I'm not selecting the name, neither I'm selecting the grand total. Only I'm selecting only 3 columns of the particular customer. I'll go to insert. There is an option over here called spark lines. You'll be getting 3 different types of spark lines over here: line, column, win or loss. We'll go to our line option. And when I go for this line option, this will be demanding over here. Where is the data? Data is already selected. What is the location you want to paste your data? Is nothing but visual column first cell. So keeping the cursor in the location box, you can select the visual column and then go and click OK. So with immediate effect, you'll be finding more or less a line graph kind of options will generate. Yes. And along with that, one Sparkline tab is also being activated in your ribbon. So this may be name would be different options, design tools, Sparklines or Sparkline tools, depending upon the version of Microsoft Excel. And along with that, you have the option called markers. So when I go to these markers and keep this activated, you can notice over there 3 pointers will be added. And this is happening only with one customer. Now the same I can apply for others. And see the beauty, when you are going to present this to the people, people are going to read this column and this column. They don't have time to go through your boring numbers, billions, millions, lakhs and crores. It is very difficult to remember. But when you show the visuals, this is adding more value. What is that? That Al Hamid automobiles, if you look at, they are showing some consistency compared to last year to this year. But Arya Motors, they are quite showing a beautiful growth. It's a good sign from the company perspective. But Bavaria Motors, what happens? The business volume is going down. It's a serious issue. We should check it out with them why they are not performing well. But Gurudev Motors, Manoj Motors, and Lexus Motors, they are showing consistent growth compared to the last year. So this is how people will remember the story, what you have presented. And if necessary, you can take this to the presentation that is in PowerPoint slides, and it will be turned up with a beautiful and meaningful slide. So give it a try and check all these things are working. Yes, true, Aishman. The people always love to see the visuals than your boring numbers. So I got to confirmation. How about others? Please try and let me know if you have any difficulties. Do let me know. I will help you out on your screen. All right. Yes. So Kavita, Lakshmi, Swagatika, how about your status? Okay, great. So pivot three, what we did, now we are pretty clear out of that. Now let's go and do one thing. Select your pivot three sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right, you'll be finding another pivot naming called pivot table number 4. Now here, this visual work is over. You can select the entire column and go for control minus. You can go for right click delete also if you believe that is quite comfortable for you. All right. Now, our customer work is over. That also you can deactivate. Month work is over. That also you can deactivate. So customer and month you can remove and bring product descriptions to the rows. The first pivot table, whatever we had designed, just bring that structure. Now, once we have done with this, let us discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Now take a look at my screen first. Suppose say this is what last 3 years revenue data I have presented to my boss. My boss is happy. He is telling me, because I just want to do one thing. Along with this revenue data, I want to know how much incentives we have given to our people. So my boss wants to analyze revenue versus incentive in the side by side or adjacent columns. So first of all, incentive, whom we pay? To our salesman, sales agent, or salesperson. So whom we have paid, my boss is not interested in knowing that. How much we have paid, he wants to know that. So how to present it? First thing first, do we have a field called incentive? Check it out. In our data, do we have a field called incentive? Not at all. So now our problem starts, we do not have the data. Yes. Now keep this with you, just to keep it on hold. Take an example. In our organization, we have got a uniform policy or global policy stating that whoever our salesman or sales agent or sales professional, whichever the area he is or she is operating with, they will be entitled for, suppose say 2% incentive. This is a global policy. Now the problem is we do not have that data over there. Yes, but we know how to compute it. So in this case, how to present our incentive with our pivot table. So when we do not have the data, we do always have a choice. We can go back to the source data and we can create it. So which is the last column in our source data sheet is our channel partners. Now keep your cursor next to channel partners and there you type incentive. Now when you hit enter, you can notice similar formatting is being carried forward. And how it had happened? Because we have converted our data into tables. So now did you realize why did I ask you to convert your data into a table format? Right. Now coming back to the formula. What would be the formula for incentive calculation? Equal to billing amount. So we'll go to sales USD. It will take this kind of ready-made formatting like at the rate symbol, square brackets. So this is nothing to do with our formula. This is the default formatting pattern of our table. Okay. So this cell when I select, automatically it takes the format like this. Now multiply over here 2%, right? So go for 2%. And the moment you hit enter, you will be finding not only a cell, but also the entire column is being populated for your answer. Now again, the question is, how did you get the entire formula being applied for the whole column? Well, since we have converted our data into table, it is getting applied for the whole column. So this is how people we have created our data, no doubt. But where? In the source data sheet. But where we are working? In the pivot table number 4. Now, the question is how to bring incentive to pivot 4. Take a look. If you look at below to channel partners, we do not have incentive field populated, right? So here, what you can do, just right click anywhere in the pivot table. And then over here, you have a ready-made option called refresh. So when you go for refresh button with immediate effect, did you see your incentive field is being populated over here? And then since incentive is containing the numbers or numerical value, I told you what is the right field area to place with is nothing but our value area. Now we got our incentive ready with total incentive. Along with that, year wise, how much incentive we are given, that is pretty clear now. So this is how people, whenever there's a need, you can keep creating a number of columns by designing the data in your source data sheet, and you can plot it with a simple right click refresh. Any doubt, any queries in pivot table number 4, you can ask me. So is it clear working? Anybody is facing any difficulties, need my support? Do let me know. So I got one confirmation. How about others? All right. Now, pivot 4. We are clear. Let's do one thing. Selecting pivot 4 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So we got another pivot table ready, naming pivot table number 5. Now in pivot 5, our incentive work is over. You can remove that. Now here, let's have a discussion. What else we can do with regard to pivot? Stay focused. Suppose say I am done with incentive. My boss is quite happy the way I have presented the report, no issues. And he is now asking me, Pravas, I'm done with incentive. Okay. Now, what I'm looking for is while making this much of billing, how much discounts we have given to our customers. While making in 3 years billing of that, how many discounts or how much discounts we have given to our customers, he wants to analyze. Well, let's check it out. First thing first, do we have a field called discounts? It is there? Yes or no? No. So we do not have the data. Again, the problem starts. Now let's take that thing in hold. Like incentive, suppose, assume that in our organization, say Tata Motors, we have a global policy that whoever our customers or dealers, how much billing they make, though they purchase bulk quantity or small quantity, everyone is entitled for 5% discount. This is the global policy suppose Tata Motors has. So now the question is over here, if I need to bring my discount and populate my pivot, how to do that? Yes, anybody?
Uh,
We'll do in the summary
yeah,
set itself.
again, creating a new column for discount and calculating that.
Okay. So you believe that we'll go to, don't do that, we are discussing, okay? So like incentive, we'll go and create another column, naming called discount. We'll apply the formula. We'll apply the formula for whole column. We'll come back to pivot. We'll go for right click refresh. The field will appear over here. Then we'll be bringing to the value field area. Do you all agree with
Yes.
me?
Yeah,
Yes.
How much time we are spending for that doing the operation? Roughly 2 to 5 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
So one and 2 to 5 minutes of quality time we are spending for doing this operation, which is a waste of time. Yeah, this is a waste of time. And besides that, what is happening? The moment you go to our source data and create a column and apply the formula for 1 lakh records, the file size is also getting heavy. Do you mind that?
Yes.
So having said this, whatever the operations we did, people, maybe our expert, they suggest us to do the job like this, but Microsoft Excel never recommends for that. So now the question is, without creating a source data, if I need to have some new column in pivot itself, naming called discount, how to get that? Okay. So now we are going to learn a different concept called virtual field or calculated field or a customized field. How? Keeping our cursor anywhere in the data, go to our pivot table, analyze or analyze anything depending upon the version of your Excel. There's an option called our fields, items and sets. If it is not your direct option, go for calculations group. And within that, you'll be finding field options. So fields, items and sets. Yes. Within that, do you see an option called calculated field? So when you go for this calculated field and click it, with immediate effect, you will be finding a dialog box is activated. And what is the first criteria? Name. So what will be the newly added column? The name would be called discount. So go and define that over here called discount. Then next is the formula tab. In this formula tab, whatever it is written, please delete that because we are going to customize our own formula over there. And there, what you need to do, just see. In the fields below details, if you see, there is a field called sales USD. Just double click on that. And when you go for double click, it will be immediately embedded in the formula box. So you don't need to go and type all these things manually. Just double click on sales USD. Now multiply. How many percentage of discount we provide uniformly? 5%. So go for 5%. So this is it. The moment you give it and click OK, you will be finding a new column immediately added in our pivot table naming called total discount. Along with that, year-wise discount, how much we have given, we have received the information. Along with this, if you go to summary table, you will be finding there is no such kind of column called discount. So that is what the beauty of your calculate field or customized field or virtual field. You can create a number of fields like this. There is no restrictions. So as long as you need some fields, you can keep creating. Check it out. All these things are clear in pivot table number 5, whatever we did. Any difficulties or any questions, feel free to ask.
Prabhaji, in mine the option is different. I'll show the screen.
Yep.
Yeah, here it's analyze.
Yeah, analyze towards your right, you see fields, items, and sets are there. The analyze
Yeah,
tab
here the
towards your right,
calculated field. Yeah.
and within that, calculate field. In the name, you give discount and clean the formula box. Double click on sales USD, multiply by 5%. Click OK, you'll be getting it.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. So now we are going to discuss over here, like pivot table number 5, how you did it. So what is the takeaway from this? Like what you did for discount, we could have done for incentive as well, right? Do you agree with me? Right. Now, if you have any questions in this, you can ask me before proceeding further. Okay, so it's clear for you, I believe. Well, since you did not ask me, but I would like to tell you people, sometimes there may be a need. If you have committed any mistake in the calculation, or later you believe that management has decided to change the discount percentage, then how to do that? So instead of recreating the entire process, better you should go and edit the existing calculation. But how to do it? Same thing. Keeping your cursor anywhere in pivot, go to same pivot table analyze, and where to go? Fields, items and sets, and option calculate field. When you do that, you will be finding in your name column, that is name box towards your extreme right, there is a drop down over here. Click on that drop down, and whatever the fields you have created as a calculate field, it will be displayed over here. So you can select one, that is what we created recently called discount. Now the format or formula, everything will be shown. Then here, how many percentage? Suppose a later boss has decided to go for only 1%. So you can go to that 5 where it is written, just change it to 1. And remember one thing, do not forget to click the modify button. So if you are going to update the records, retaining the field, you should go for modify. If you believe the work is over, discount is anymore not needed, you should go for delete option over here. So same window box, you have the delete, you have the modify, everything in one place. Now click OK, and you got your discount value to be populated of 1%. So this is how people, how to design a customized field or calculate field, and how to edit that, how to delete that if necessary. We have understood that operation. Any difficulties? Feel free to ask. All right. So are we good for next level? Okay. Now let's do one thing. Just keep your cursor in pivot table number 5 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So we got the option called pivot table number 6. Okay. Now let us go and discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table over here. So our discount work is over. You can remove that and bring your structure to the original pivot table number 1. All right. So let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Sometimes what will be needed over there while working with pivot, we need to have multiple reports. Like say, take an example. This is what the report I have presented to my boss. My boss is quite happy with the pattern, like 3 years data in 3 columns and all the products in rows. So he's happy quite by looking at this pattern. Okay. But what he's saying, try to understand. He is telling me, Prabhas, you have given me only one pivot table. Yes. What I am expecting is similar format of pivot table should be there, but that should be based on the salesman. So salesman wise pivot table, my boss is expecting from me. So first thing first, do I have a field related to salesman or salesperson or sales agent? Yes, I do have. So I'm very much sure and we have no issues. We have got the field ready-made available. So we have no pain. But how to present it? Take a look. No need to do anything. Just watch my screen. I am doing on behalf of you all. So first watch my screen. I took salesperson to the row area. My pivot structure changes. Boss is not happy. I took it to the columns area. What happens now? My salesperson name is displayed, but the entire variables or details of the salesman name is not available. So there is no point. Then I took it to the filter area. Somewhat now I'm safe. Whatever my boss was looking at, it is ready. And about the pivot table, can you see a salesperson filter is there? Yes. Now, in this case, I took up this data to my boss and I asked him, sir, you are looking for salesman voice data, right? Do one thing. What you need to do, you have to click this filter, you have to choose SM1, you have to click OK. Now, this entire data, whatever you see, is pertaining to salesman 1. Only thing is, you have to insert a new worksheet, you have to copy this, and you have to paste it in that sheet. And you have to rename that sheet with salesman name. And this is the only action you have to repeat for 200 times. Because we are looking for 200 reports, so you have to repeat for 200 times. Do you think that boss is going to be happy with my answer? Or can I suggest my boss to do something like this? So what's the bottom line from the story? We cannot divert our responsibilities towards our superiors. And if you do so any point of time, you know the consequences and what kind of trouble you are going to invite, you know that very well. So this is not going to help us. Then how to deal with the same? Take a look. Here, if I go and do this job, definitely it will kill my whole day. But I don't have my whole day to just prepare a report. And if I tell to my boss, sir, it will take one day, he will say, what is there that you are going to do one day on this, spend on this? Do it in just 1 hour. So 24 hours timeline data, we have to do it just in 1 hour. But how to do it? Let's go and check. The entire stuff, what you believe is going to kill my one day completely. Imagine if I able to do the same job for you just in 10 seconds. Yes, 10 seconds. A lot of quality time we can say, of course, a lot. So let's see how to do that. Take a look. First thing first, based on my which field my boss is expecting multiple reports based on salesperson. So salesperson, take it to the filter area. So this is our first operation. Okay. Now you can notice above to the pivot table area, one filter is being embedded called salesperson. Select that filtered cell. Don't click the filter button, just select that cell. Okay. Now there, when you go for it, do one thing, go to your analyze or pivot table analyze tab. The very first options from the left, you'll be finding a pivot table name is there, correct? Below to that, you have the name over here. Below to that, you have options. So next to the options, if you see, there's a small navigation button is there. Okay. Now click on that navigation button. So there are three options you'll be getting out of this. Go for the second option, show report filter pages. And once you click that, with immediate effect, a dialog box is going to appear asking in that which field you want multiple reports. Salesperson, yes. Is it selected? Yes. Now click OK and see the beauty. On your blink of your eyes, your pivot will start exporting the data to multiple reports, having the pattern remaining the same. Filter selected with the salesman name. Sheet tabs, if you look at, already renamed with your salesman names. So trust me, people, this is called life savior option of our pivot table. I have seen literally people sitting and doing the copy paste work at the year end. So if you know the tool properly, any point of time you want to generate region wise data, department wise records, vendor wise information, customer wise data, anything you want, you can manage something like this. Okay, check it out. I believe this is working. Any difficulties, anybody? Is it going to help you? What's your perception? Yeah, right. Anybody's not getting or the steps are not clear for you, you tried and you are not getting success, don't worry, you can ask me. So all these things, people, as I told you, in training, everything seems to be like a fairy tale. But unless and until you practice upon the same, you will never get a feel on those topic or hang on those topics. So taking your live data, post training, you have to keep practicing. So what mistake you did in the last week, do not repeat the same. Keep the momentum going, taking the live data at least 15 to 20 minutes each day you spend for your Excel learning. Okay, fine. So pivot table number 6, whatever we did, I believe it's clear for all. So now do one thing. Keep your cursor in pivot 6 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. You got another pivot ready, naming pivot table number 7. Okay. So our salesperson work is over. That also we can remove. So kindly confirm once your structure is ready like this. All right. Now let us go and discuss what else we can do with regard to our pivot. Sometimes what it happens, friends, we have to deal with our date related records in pivot table. So date related like your purchase order date, work order date over there whenever you have, or invoice date, date of joining of the employee, or date of exit of the employee, whatever it is, the date related information, then how to present those data and what would be the right way, what is the best industrial practice, we need to know that. So take a look. In our data, please remove the unwanted fields like product description and year. Just remove that. Only retain sales USD. All right. So here, above to your sales USD, you will be finding one order date, one exclusive field is available, right? So take that field to the row area and you will be finding a ready-made structure of your pivot. Something comes like this. Just bring order date to the row area. You will be finding your pivot structure something like this. So here, once you bring it, this kind of ready-made structure, whatever pivot has given people, it is not going to help us. People are not comfortable reading the data in this pattern. Then how to present it effectively? Just see. Keep your cursor in one of the year. Keep your cursor in one of the year. Okay. Right click on that. You have the option over here called ungroup. And there. Once you click on group, can you see the existing report has been neutralized and just individual date wise, whatever the invoice value, is it being populated? Yes. This is what the type of report you used to get in 2013 and below versions of Microsoft Excel. Okay. So now right click on any of the date and go for the option called group. Just able to ungroup, you have an option called group. And when you click that group option, then the dialog box appears. And within that dialog box, you'll be finding over there the first invoice date, the last invoice date is both populating. Yes. And below to that, if you look at only month is in selection, just above to month. Can you see days is there? Yes. That also you select. And below to the month, quarter is there. So quarters don't select now because we are not sure whether we need to go for financial year or calendar year, but go for years. So I repeat, you can cross check days, months, years. All these three should be in selection. Now click OK. And you see a beautiful hierarchy of report, year-wise, month-wise, date-wise records. So any point of time, if you are presenting your date-related information in Pivot People, this is how you are supposed to present it. And whoever is watching, they will be very happy watching the same because you are giving the detailed information along with that summarized information also to the people. Check it out. All these things are working. Any doubt, any queries? Fine. So pivot table number 7, whatever we did, I believe it's clear. Any doubt, any queries? All right. So let us do one thing. Select this pivot 7 sheet tab, holding the control button, drag it to the right. So you got another pivot ready, naming called pivot table number 8. Okay. Now clear these date related fields, whatever the fields you have, just clear that. And bring the first pivot table, whatever we had designed, like product description in the rows, year, not years, year into the columns. Fine. Now In pivot 8, let's discuss what else we can do with regard to pivot table. Take a look. This kind of billions, millions, lakhs, crores, immediately my boss would be happy watching the same if I present it. We know that very well since day one we are operating. But the data, when it goes to the management level, what they're expecting, nothing new. We have already discussed that. So what I'm trying to say, if Indica, if you look at 6 lakhs 18,373 USD, billions, billions, lakhs, crores, maybe my immediate boss would be happy watching the same. But same data, if I'm sending it to my management, they're not interested to see, they're not bothered about this billions, billions, lakhs, crores, but they want to see the revenue data. Then how? They prefer to see. Forgotten? We discussed, right, in day one. See, just to remind you, I'm taking you through the quick options over here. In the data representations, can you see? I told you something. When you have the revenue data in terms of numbers, numbers are always boring, but when you go to the management, they prefer to see the data in terms of percentage. Don't you think that we have already discussed about all these things, right? So same thing. Now we are going to prepare in pivot table, but how to do that? So those things people, our audience or our experts, they will suggest you to do the job manually. Yes, they will never prepare in pivot because they believe that in pivot table, these are not possible. So they will create the manual column like this, going to the new column, typing the value over here equal to what is this cell about? This is the B5. They will go and type manually B5. And that should be divided by the total cell. So total is in B16. And this cell should not move down. They will ask you to lock it. And the same you can convert into percentage. Now the same you can apply for over here. And this you can rename as 2019 revenue data in percentage. So this is how people will ask you to do the job. Nothing wrong what you're doing, but this will never be forming part of your pivot table. So never ever prepare your data or information like this in pivot, right? So how to prepare it then? Just see. I'll tell you a very beautiful option. So first thing first, the report what you are expecting, if you want to prepare some interface arrangements we have to do. What is that? See, there are two types of grand total in our pivot table. Two types. One, it is called row-wise grand total. The other one, it's stated as column-wise grand total. So for the report, what we are expecting, row-wise grand total is not playing any role. So you must have thought something, what you do ideally. We go and delete the column, but in pivot table, if you try to delete a particular column, what will be happening? It will not allow you to delete it because all these fields are integrated. It has connected to each other. That's why you can't delete a particular field. Now, what is the option? You can hide. But when you hide after D, column F will be visible. So people will definitely come to know there is something hidden. So this is also not making any sense. So now the question is how to do the right treatment on that. Take a look at my screen. I'll tell you a very beautiful option. Keeping our cursor in the pivot table, if I go to my design tab, in the extreme left, second option deals with grand totals. And when I go for this grand total, within that, in the bottom, you have the option called on for columns only. So when you go for on for columns only, with immediate effect, you will be finding the column, which is containing called grand total, row-wise grand total. It is just disappear. So this is how people you can work around with this grand total columns. Okay, I believe this is working. Now, next step, what you need to do, I'll tell you, just watch my screen. In our value area, you could notice already sales USD is taken, correct? So I'll bring the sales USD one more time to the value field area. One more time, okay? Now it will take me to a field called sum of sales USD2. I'll be getting that. I'll keep the cursor in that column header. I will right click on that. There's a beautiful option over here called show values as. And the moment you navigate from the top, third option, is it dealing with your percentage of column total? Yes. So I can go on just type and you can notice you got the entire value transformed into percentage values. And there you can rename as revenue percentage. So this is how people, the same field we can customize and give a different meaning or information over them. Okay, so give it a try. And this will be forming part of pivot table only. No need to worry about this. Yes, Sumit, that is what people are not aware and they always say they make an opinion about pivot. There's nothing in pivot they believe in that. But when you use the options properly, 50% of your work, the manual efforts can be curtailed or minimized.
Yeah, very true. It is really time saving.
Yes. All right. Yes, absolutely. Ayushman, that is what error-free you can say. You can rely upon your pivot table confidently. You can say to someone, okay. All right. So now here, I would like to tell you one thing, people, over here. Now, once it is done, report is ready, and definitely this is forming part of your pivot table. Nowhere the field details are there, but yes, you got a field in the value field area, and somebody will definitely surprise. In the source data, there is no such kind of field called revenue percentage. Then how this guy has prepared? And definitely he's going to ask a question. Where did you get this field? And that's what we want. People should ask us, how did you do this? And that takes our presentations to the next level, definitely. All right, so pivot table 8 people. What we did, we are clear over here. Now let's go for holding the control button, drag it to the right. We got another pivot ready, naming pivot table number 9. Okay, now this revenue percentage you can remove, and our row wise grand total is missing. How to restore that? Same option. Where to go? Pivot table analyze or analyze depending upon the version. Go to over here. In this, do you have a control to have this grand total? No. So we have to go to design. And design, we have the second option from the left to deal with the grand total. But which option you have to go now is the second option to restore your columns on for rows and columns. And immediately the row wise grand total also will be restored. So this is how we have understood how to operate with our pivot table and customize some new fields. And once the job is done, how to restore them back. We have seen that. Kindly save all your files. If you have any difficulties, any questions, feel free to ask.
Sorry,
All
Prabhas,
right.
I've got one question. In case
Yeah.
I want to know how many salesperson we have in our organization, right? How can I check that using pivot?
Simple. You can say if you want to know, suppose that this is the pivot table I have. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, if you want to know how many salesmen is there, fine. So I'm just doing one thing. I'm taking this pivot table for your better understanding. And over there, I remove everything over here. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I took salesperson in the row area and again salesperson in the value area. So what is happening? This salesman count, it is giving me 58, 57, something like that, because this is repeatedly using over here. How many times it is being repeated, the count of that data it is showing. Now, if you want
Okay.
to know over here that how many people are there, then you take this into the columns also. And again, salesperson, you can bring it over here. So now you can see how many counts are there over here. But what
Hmm.
is happening? It is giving the total of that. Now, if you see, there is an option called, if I go and click this navigation button, I'll be getting a value field settings.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is happening? It is giving me the count. Okay. Now, what
Hmm.
I want, what are the operations I can do over here? These are the fields we have: minimum, maximum, average, product, or count numbers. All these options are available. So whichever the field will be giving you a distinct count, or if you want to go for only unique values, if you have something, then you can go for it over here. Or the best option over here is you can simply go for it. Don't take any field. Now immediately you can go and populate and select. This is the count over here. You can find it out. Now since grand total is there, so I have got maximum 10 people.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
are multiple ways to do this job.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you do not want to go for pivot, the best option what I suggest is you can go to summary table. Okay,
Hmm.
go to the salesman column. This is my salesman column. I will select everything, copy that. I'll go to a new new sheet, and I have pasted it. Okay. Now simply go for over here. You can go to data. You can go for remove duplicates. We do have an
Got
option.
it. Correct. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And it will be giving you how many distinct values.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Got it. Thank you.
Right. Welcome. I'll tell you one more that will be helpful for your designing the dashboards and all. See, just for the information, I'm telling you, maybe you will be looking for that also later stage. See, now I have got a huge data. My salesman names are being repeated over here. This is the way you can find the unique values by removing the duplicates. This is one operation. Instead of doing that, what I suggest all the time when you go for a dashboard designing and all, let the data be there as it is. We are not going to remove or anything because tomorrow anything goes wrong, my source data at least will be there with me. So what you can do, you can go for finding the unique values. Okay. So when you go for unique values to find out, you don't need to go for removing the duplicates anymore. If you are in 2019 and above, we have a very beautiful array formula called unique. So you need to go and select the range, and ultimately it will show you what is the unique values or names you have in that list. And based on that, which salesman, how much they have made the business, anything you want to compute, you can compute that. This is also the way you can do. And when
Yes.
this is going to help you, because pivot, when you go for it, what is happening? It is always taking its own format, like this kind of filter buttons, name, cells, heuristic. You cannot work further, or if you want to beautify something, it is very difficult because pivot it works with own format. So when you have to have your own control, you should design the dashboard taking the formulas over there. So this is called formula driven dashboard purpose. This is going to help you a lot.
This is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. All right, so pivot table number 9 we'll discuss after a short break, people. So kindly save all your files, whatever we have designed. All right. So in my system, it is 4:05. We'll take 10 minutes break. So for 4:15, yeah, it's a good time. So have a quick risk and come back soon, people. Okay. So I'll be in mute. I'll be back by 4:15. All right, so I believe everybody's back. Could you please respond in the chat box? Why for yes? So all are in. Can we start? Could you please confirm your presence? Okay. Sumit and Aishman, they have confirmed. How about others? All right, so now we are going to discuss something, one more beautiful concept of our pivot table, naming called how to design or create a dashboard using pivot table. Dashboard, it is not an alien terms for us. Obviously, we have been working in corporate since long, and nowadays this is not big in the market. Wherever you go, and if you create multiple files report or multiple sheets report, people are not happy watching that. In turn, they are asking for a dashboard or one page of report. So dashboard, as I told you, I mean, there are three different types of dashboard mostly we come across while working in spreadsheet application. One is called formula driven dashboard. So you would see in that one page of report, many more formulas being used to import the data from different sources. You would have seen that. The other one, macro dashboard, like on a click of button, the entire report will be drawn in the canvas or in the blank page, and report will be ready with information. So that will call macro related dashboard. The other one is called pivot dashboard. There are three different types of dashboard we have. But before proceeding further and working with the same, I just would like to know what is your understanding about dashboard? Anybody? You can give your viewpoints. What is the meaning by dashboard? What is that your understanding?
It's a consolidated report. I mean, one place, tell-all kind of a report, wherein
Mhm.
one doesn't have to go elsewhere. It's more like a scorecard that gives you a score, or and it mines the data and keeps it very consolidated. If one doesn't have to go anywhere else. Once I see a dashboard, I know the whole information.
Okay, so basically it is serving all the dishes in one plate kind of steps. More or relate. We can relate like that, correct? Okay, anything else? Anybody has got a different understanding? Whatever, there's nothing wrong. Okay, no problem. Let me give you first brief understanding about the dashboard. Wherever you see, though people name it in different dashboards, as I told you, macro dashboard, formula driven dashboard, pivot dashboard, there are common things you'll be finding called one drop down. Drop down will be helping you to select a variable from a different list. Then based on that, you will be getting some tabular data or statistical information. And based on the statistics, you'll be finding some kind of graphical presentations of your data. And when you have all these three elements in place in one worksheet or one page, you can consider that as a dashboard. So before proceeding further with our topic and navigating through the things, let me show you some real-time dashboards so that it will be bringing more clarity what we are up to, what we are going to achieve, and then we'll go and start working together. So next 5 minutes, just watch my screen. Don't do anything, just watch my screen. Okay. Now, I'm going to take you through some dashboards. So first, I'll take you through one sophisticated dashboard of one client of HR department. Okay, so I'll go for that. See, this is a sophisticated dashboard. You could see many more charts, graphs, everything is the line, column, pie, bar, and we have got some statistics or numbers in place. And you could see the entire department names are there in one box. The client place has got the business into multiple locations. All the location names are there. Last 9 years data has been taken to analyze, and these are the list of employee names who are working in the organization. That list is there. But how it operates, how it functions, let me take you through. At any point of time, you ask me, suppose say Prabhas, I would just want to know IT department, what is the headcount trend during the last 9 years? I'll choose IT from the department, and this chart is going to change. Just see, if I select IT, is it changing? Yes. Now, if you want to know in IT department, New York City, what is the headcount trend or how is it? Then I'll go for IT and New York City. If I choose, then automatically this chart is going to reflect over here. See, it is changing? Yes. Suppose say you want to know, Prabhas, this IT department, New York City in 2004, what was the breakup of salary? So when I go and select 2004 over here, this salary structure breakup will change. And based on that, this chart and this chart will be changing. Just see how. So IT department, New York City, 2004. Is it changing? Yes, immediately. So this is called a sophisticated dashboard, people. And when you go for it, it is not so easy, but not impossible also. This is just a one-time task you have to do, and you have to spend some time and efforts. It's not also overnight put the formula and get the answer. But yes, to prepare something like this, you need to have 10 years data. Then only you can play around. And 90% calculations since afternoon, whatever we have been doing over here is nothing but over here, 90% calculations, all the pivot table calculations. And one more sheet just to update the data on regular basis. If any new employee comes, you need to keep adding, or if he leaves the organization, you have to keep removing. Any new department names or department has been formed to for better internal control system, you need to keep adding those records. Any new location the office has been introduced or opened, you have to keep adding the name. Any new year data you have pushed further to analyze further and update the records, you have to keep adding those records. So in the back end, only thing is you have to do this much. So this, once it is ready, it is for whole life, you can make use of it. And nowadays, this is being done by the third party vendors. The corporates, they outsource all these things. They don't prepare. And for each and every report, they pay a minimum of, on an average, 25 to 30,000. Trust me. Now think about it. Not like this exactly. At least 50% of this work, if you're able to do, that will be a great achievement. That will be a great asset for the company also. What do you say? Yes or no? Are you getting it? Able to connect what I'm saying? Yes, no, right? So this is one of the sophisticated dashboard people of HR department I showed you. Now I'll show you one dashboard from sales department. Just see. This entire report of sales department of one organization XYZ Limited, suppose say, different charts, graphs, and month details, product categories, and sales representative names and the regions, everything is there populated in one interface. Now, suppose say, as a company chief marketing officer, I just want to know what is the status of my Eastern zone. If I go and click Eastern zone over here, my entire statistics changes for Eastern zone on a click of button. Now, if I want to know in Eastern zone, what is the performance of salesman Jenny Paul? So I'll go to my salesperson's list or sales representative list, and if I go and click Jenny Paul with immediate effect, you would be finding the data structure changes. So more or less, we are going to create something like this. What do you believe? This is going to help you? What's it? Definitely. So are you interested in knowing that? See, yeah, no problem. Jagdish, you will be doing that by yourself. As I told you, people are of different verticals, people joining. The techniques remains the same. So you need to first design your master data to exclusively capture the maximum information. Then how to transform a beautiful dashboard, I will tell you. Don't worry. So just focus on the dashboard, then try to correlate at your workplace, whatever the data you have, how to track it, how to show the navigations, everything you will be learning today. Don't worry. So first, let me complete the task, then you get an idea. Okay. So now we all are ready for creating our dashboard by using pivot table. Okay. So first thing first, whenever you happen to create a dashboard by using pivot table, people, some rules you need to follow. What is the rule says? You need to take some external objects like some shapes, connecting lines, or icons, depending upon the version of your Microsoft Excel. And you need to be very pinpoint accurate with regard to your alignment. And whenever you take external objects, make sure your objects are of bit of high definition colorful buttons, because any dashboard if you look at, you must be having some HD buttons or kind of high gradient look colorful options. So you must use that because that is going to add more beauty to your reports. Okay. So I'll take you through one more. I mean, if you're insisting or if you're interested, I'll show you one more, taking 1 minute of time of yours. Just watch my screen. I'll show you one more report. Just recently, we are working with on a particular project and we have completed for a industry, say LNT. No, yeah. I'll go for this Croatia project. Yeah. So this report, if you look at, this is a beautiful dashboard. You can notice everything is over here. Now, on any point of time, like if you want to see a particular quarter's results over here, I'll show you. So this is a lot of data around and it is taking a lot of time to update your records. Okay. Now you want to see the details of suppose say quarter 1, and I'll go and click on this quarter 1, and this is the entire status of quarter 1 records. Now in quarter 1, from a particular work location, what is the status? Suppose I go for FIS engineering. If I go and click it, now this entire status of quarter 1 FIS engineering, it is showing me the details. Now, if you want to know over here, suppose say in project management, what is the status? So if I go and click it, so this is the status of project management. Everything is populating on the screen. So this is a beautiful dashboard we have just created and delivered that for a particular client naming called Furasia. It's an international client of ours. But yes, all these things, as I told you, this is being outsourced by the companies nowadays. So there are a lot of opportunities. Why I'm telling all these things to you, along with your regular income, you can have a second line of income if you know Excel very well. There are a lot of freelancing sites when you can just take the order, you can deliver the projects to them, and you'll be getting paid in terms of US dollar. Okay. That's why I'm just giving you all these flavors to you. So you don't need to go for somewhere else. With your existing knowledge only, you can enhance your skills further and you can get more income out of this. All right. So now, as I was telling you people over here, as I told you, so we need to take some multiple objects. But before that, let's do some arrangements in our interface. So what you need to do, keep your cursor just above to the pivot table area. You could see some blank row items are there. Yes. Insert a row, Alt-IR, one by one to insert a row. And to repeat the last action, go for hitting F4. So create some 10 to 15 blank row items above to the pivot table. So this is our first step. We'll go step by step confirmation. Anything is missing, take my help, but don't skip it. Don't be in the impression that, okay, later I'll just follow the video and recordings, I'll do it. That you have to do, but one time practice is very, very essential. So don't worry. Feel free to ask wherever you are struggled or you are needed my support. Okay. So can I take that? All the blank cells are ready. Fine. So now once we have done with this, then keep your cursor in the pivot table anywhere, in the pivot table anywhere, and then go to your analyze or pivot table analyze. You have an option over here, naming called insert slicer. You remember day two, we discussed something about slicer. We have seen a glimpse of that, but today we are going to discuss in detail. So when you go to insert slicer, you will be finding a dialog box appears containing all the source data column headers. Slicers, what are they? They are nothing but works like a filter button. Whatever the operations we do with regard to filter, same thing we can do it over here. But only difference is we can see all the filter variables at once. That's the best option of slicers. But the moment we have decided to integrate our slicers with pivot table, we must follow a rule. And the rule says, first, you identify what are the fields you have already taken in your pivot, like year, product description, sales USD. We have taken for pivot table. Fine. These three fields you should not choose as a slicer because that will be amounting as a duplication of fields and it is not needed. But there is no hard and fast rule. If you want, you can take it, but this is not going to add any value towards our reports. So now what you need to do, apart from all these three fields, anything else you want to work with, you must choose out of this. Say, I want to see my customer-wise data. Select customers. I want to see my product-wise records, product type-wise records. Yes. Salesperson-wise, I want to analyze. Region-wise records, I want to see. Month-wise records, I want to analyze. I repeat, you can cross-check customer, product type, salesperson, region, and month, not months, month. So check exclusively. There are two fields with regard to month and months. So just go for month. And once you click OK, you will be finding 5 boxes will generate like this. So we'll take a pause. We'll get a confirmation from all, then we'll proceed. Kindly confirm all of you have got these 5 different slicer boxes ready on your screen. Well, Sugatika has confirmed. Kavita also done. Very good. Jagdish too. Yes, Kiran also done. Fine. Sumit also perfect. Yeah, great. Nice one too. Perfect. Now please look at my screen for a minute. What you need to do now is the space, whatever we have created above to the pivot area, all these 5 slicers we need to arrange in that. But how? Whenever you want to select a slicer, you must select by the slicer name. Don't click any variables inside the slicer. Just click the slicer name, hold it, drag it wherever you want, you take it and place it. So I'm working with full screen. Now, anybody is having any issues, do unmute and speak. So I'll take product type over here. I'll take customer extreme right. You can have your own order. There is no hard and fast rule. You should follow mine. Okay. Now I'll take month over here and I'll take region over here and I'll take customer over here. Fine. Now, though we have arranged all the slicers like these people, but the look and feel of the slicers are not so great. So what we need to do, if you look at, if you select one of the slicer, one slicer tab will be activated in your ribbon extreme right. You will be seeing that. Okay. So the name might be slightly different. Somebody gets slicer tools options, or somebody gets slicer, or somebody may get options. Could be the case depending upon the versions, but options should remain the same. So if you go and activate the slicer and navigate, you have the options over here. Many more styles. So you go to the more button, it will open in 2 broad categories naming light and dark. There is no medium over here, but here we need to go for dark colors since we are looking for some high definition colorful buttons. Okay, so choose one slicer, one high definition color, again one more slicer, one more color. Like that, you can keep selecting multiple colors out of this over here. Okay, now can you see we have changed the colors. Okay, this is one more step we have completed.
Excuse me, sir, I'm not getting that slicer option actually.
You select one slicer. What is the last tab you are getting?
Just a minute. Design.
Design. No, no.
Hmm.
Okay, you are working in which version? Let me see. Okay, you can share your screen. Let me see.
Just in.
Yeah.
Visible, sir?
Yeah, I can see that. See, I told not to do one thing, the same thing you started doing. I told not to click any of the variables inside the slicer.
Okay.
Go to each and every slicer, top right corner of the
Okay.
slicer.
Sorry.
Right, no problem. Now select one of the slicer. It is overlapping. See, no, no, no,
Oh,
no. Select the slicer with the slicer name. With the slicer name, where the name is there, you have to click there only. So
oh, it's
customer is,
visible.
yeah, you go there and change the colors. You can see multiple styles. Go for the
Yes.
more button. Go for the more button, dark colors will come. Towards your
Mm,
right, more button is there. Yes. So
yeah.
dark colors you should take.
Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So this is how we have changed the colors and we have changed the look and feel of our slicers options over here, people. But the problem is, if you see, just watch my screen, some slicers it's still containing this kind of vertical scroll bars. So this kind of scroll bar still it is there, it is not giving a great look. So the question is how to remove the same. So what you can do, see, if you select one of the slicer, you can see in the same slicer tab, it is showing the columns. And by default, the columns option, it is showing one for all. It's one. Okay. You change the column number, you increase the column number, you can notice it will start distributing to multiple columns. Right? So I took four. You can see the entire customer variables has been distributed into four columns. But the problem is I'm unable to read the data. Okay, but I have got space. So I can extend this width over here in this format so I can read all my customer names. Perfect. Similarly, I'll go to region and I'll make it to 3 and I can extend it a bit so that I can read my data. I'll go to month, I'll make it 3. You can do it in one shot also if you want to make it of uniform number of columns. It's completely up to you. There is no hard and fast rule. Okay. So make sure your data is in a readable state. It's not like you can distribute multiple columns, but you can't read your data. So there is no point of doing it, right? So 5 different slices. We have aligned it in a very beautiful fashion, increasing the column numbers over there. So any difficulties, do let me know. If it is ready, kindly confirm with a message. Why put yes? Right? Now, once we have done with this, just focus on the screen. Though we have got all the slices ready, but as I told you, the alignment has to be pinpoint accurate. So what you can do, select all your slicers, like just select one with the slicer name and go for Control A. So when you go for Control A, all the rest of slicers also would be in selection. And once you find all are selected, what you need to do is there is a slicer tab over here called Align. And in this Align tab, what you need to do, just go for Align Top. So first, from the top margin, all has to be uniformly aligned. Then Again, go to align and go for distribute horizontally. Distribute horizontally. Why distribute horizontally? Because between the slicers, whatever the spacing is there, that also has to be uniform. So that's why we need to go for distribute horizontally. So first align top, then distribute horizontally. And once we have done with this, the next step is very, very important. Next to align, you have an option called grouping, group. And within that group, you have a grouping option available. So what will be happening when you click that group? It will turn into a single object. All these 5 slices will be turned into a single object. And this is very, very essential because if you do not convert into object, tomorrow, when you start working with your pivot table, your slicers will be overlapping with each other. So this much of efforts, whatever we have made, that is going to be in vain. So just to safeguard all our formatting and the efforts what we have made, finally, do not forget to turn into a group. And once you convert into a group, you will be finding a button is there over here in the center. So once we have made the group, what is going to happen? You can see that a lot of space is left out in the bottom of each and every slicer. It is unwanted, but how to remove the same? Take a look. The button which is appearing in the center, you should go and hold it and drag it up. But while dragging, ensure you are not regaining that vertical scroll bar options in any of the slicers. Just confirm this. All right. I believe all are done with that step. Anybody is missing anything or need my support or struggling anywhere to let me know. All right. So can I consider that you all are with me? Okay. Now, once we have done with this, please stay focused. Between the slicers and pivot table, whatever these unwanted rows are there, kindly select. Unwanted rows are there, kindly select and delete the same. You can go for right click delete, control minus, anything, whichever it is comfortable for you, you can go for that. Okay. Now, once we have done with this pivot table fields box is no longer required for a dashboard sheets. So you can notice there is a cross button over here. You can select and this will be closed. So now our pivot is ready and our slicers are ready. What is the next element is needed over here to present our data graphically? A chart. So keeping your cursor anywhere in pivot table, go to your Pivot table analyze or analyze depending upon the version of your Microsoft Excel. Immediate right, you'll be finding pivot chart. And when you go for pivot chart over here, you will be getting a dialog box having the entire chart family over there. Yes. Now go and click OK. So when you click OK with immediate effect, you will be finding a dialog box is on and having the chart in place. This chart, you hold it and take it and align it next to the data in this format and extend the chart width exactly in line of our slices. This is the only thing you have to do. Okay? So pivot table is ready, slicers are ready, pivot chart is ready. Now, though the chart is ready, people, but you can notice the beauty of pivot chart is you will be getting two ready-made filter buttons over here. You will never have such kind of ready-made filter options in your normal chart course of actions. This is an exclusively available options only in pivot chart. So going forward, whenever you see somebody is controlling your data from the charts, so definitely that is created or designed out of a pivot table. Maybe pivot data would be in a different location or pivot chart would be in a different location, but it is created out of a pivot table. Now, having said this over here, if you look at your chart, the look and feel of chart is also not so great. So how to beautify this? See, when I select my chart, can you see one design button is exclusively available in our ribbon tab? Yeah. So when I navigate through this, you can see many more chart styles are available, right? Now you can go for blindly the more button and go for the last one. Now, why the last one? Because compared to the other styles, the last one is going to give you some kind of glossy impact or embossing effect or shadow impact. So better you should go for the last one. So what will be happening? You can notice compared to the previous version, now it is somewhat looking better. True. Now there are multiple colorful options are there. If you are looking for some colorful styles, you can choose out of this. It's up to you. So there is a change colors options immediately available. So if you're working with the higher versions, you may get this kind of formatting features bit of enabled over there. Not in the earlier versions it was ever. Okay. Now, though I have made the colorful changes in the chart, but having this kind of grid lines inside the chart area doesn't look good. So how to remove these grid lines? Just see. If I click on this chart, you can notice a plus symbol is there. Either in the left or right, you will be finding. And when you click that, a dialog box appears where you could see a grid line checkbox is activated. You must deactivate that and click the plus symbol. So my table is ready. chart is ready, and my slicers is ready. Kindly confirm.
So how did you remove the grid lines again? The plus.
Yeah, if you click the plus symbol, then
Okay.
grid lines, one checkbox is there, you have to deactivate that. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Now, once we have done with this, just watch my screen. See, so far, whatever we have done, anybody can do that. It's not a rocket science or something extraordinary that we did that anybody cannot do. So now the time has come to discuss how to make our presentation different from others. So what you can do, people, always remember, whenever you are working with any kind of dashboard or one page or report, from your interface, remove the unwanted stuffs like this formula bar is unwanted in our dashboard. Column headers are unwanted in dashboard. Row headers is unwanted in dashboard. Ribbon bar is unwanted in dashboard. We need to remove all these things. But how to remove that? Keep your cursor in a blank cell and go to your View tab. You'll be finding there are three options over here. If you look at naming, our grid lines, headings, formula bar, something is there. Do you agree? All these three checkboxes needs to be deactivated. So just deactivate all these three. Now, ribbon bar, how to remove? There is no way you can remove this, but yes, you can hide or unhide. And for that, you can go for a simple keyboard shortcut, Control F1. So F1, F2, F3, the function keys are there along with control. If you press, it will help you to hide or unhide. Same key, it's a toggle key to hide or unhide. If it is not your direct key, go with function control F1 and check, is it working? All right. Now, when you look at your own report, what kind of feeling you are getting? As if some blank page is there or blank canvas is there and entire report is painted on that, giving a neat and clean feeling, right? But here, now, what I'm going to tell you, it is not mandatory, it's optional, but when you do so, it will be a value addition to your work. Don't do it now, just watch my screen, okay? In later stage, when you go for practicing upon the same, you can try, don't worry. But first watch my screen. See, I have taken my cursor over here in a blank cell, the first blank cell. I'll insert some rows over here, okay? Then I come back. And what I'm going to do, just watch my screen. Somebody else. Okay. So what I need to do now, just watch my screen. No need to do all these things. You can try later. We'll go to insert shapes, taking a rectangle. Nothing new. I have already told in day two also while making a report on that. I'll go to shape format, shape fill. I'll choose some different color and here I'll make it white. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'll name this report like sales dashboard. I'll increase my font size. I'll make it center over here. And then just to give a better feel, I'll go to icons. If you're working in 2019 and above, you'll be getting your icons also. So I'll be connecting to the Microsoft Office server. And suppose I want to go for some chart. So out of this chart related activity, if I see this is somewhat looking better, I would like to take this. Yeah, insert. Now this is ready. What I'm going to do, I'll take this and I'll align it over here, increase a bit, and I'll go for graphics fill, making a white color font. Okay. Now, just to give a feel to the audience that I'm not showing a random data over here. So I would like to give a feel that this is a authenticated data of Tata Motors. Suppose I want to give a feel. What I can do, I'll go to my Google and here I'll go for Tata Motors logo. So when I go for Tata Motors logo, I believe suppose this is going to work fine for me. I will copy that over here. Okay. And I will paste it. So this is occupying a lot of space. I'll remove it over here in this thing. Right? So is it looking neat and clean and giving a message to the audience that this is a authenticated data of Tata Motors, right? So this is what a add-on. I mean, this is not mandatory, optional, but when you do so, it will be giving a better message to the audience. So as an audience, if you look at, don't you think this person is adding more value to my reports? Yes or no? So this is how mostly the dashboards you'll be finding one title based on some title image and connecting some icons or shapes, you'll be finding the most all the time. Now the question is over here, when you are presenting it, okay, I'll tell you. Being a presenter, remember one thing, do not ever show many more information to the audience. The more the information you show, the more the questions people are going to ask. So you must have thought something, what we do ideally. Ideally, we go for hiding the sheets. But pivot 9, we are working. Pivot 9, I have to show, but rest of 8 sheets I can hide. Now, suppose say all this pivot 1 to pivot 8 I have hidden. Take a look. I have hidden this. So I have taken this over here, going to pivot 8. I'll go for right click and hide. Now, what it happens when I go for it? Oh, line also selected. Okay, go for unhide. Now take a look. So I have got pivot 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9 here. Anything is missing? Let me see. Yeah. So 2 are missing. Fine. Now suppose say all these things over here, I'll just select everything I have hidden. Okay. Now, no need to do all these things. Just watch my screen. Suppose say I'm presenting something from pivot 9 and by mistake, unknowingly, my right click has enabled. So what will be happening? You can notice unhide option is also on, correct? So when unhide is on, our audience is smart enough to understand that something is hidden over here, and they will keep me asking questions over here. Prabhas, why don't you go and click this unhide button? Now suppose say in front of me, my vice president is sitting and he's asking me, can I say no? No way. Can I say to him, sir, whatever you are looking for is there in front of you. Why you're asking unwanted questions? I cannot go and express my view to my vice president like this. So what is going to happen? Though I don't want to show the hidden information, but now people are interested in that and they're asking unwanted questions, and whatever my major report, what I am supposed to present, the entire presentation has gone into drain. So this kind of information people you should avoid. So now the question is, what is the point? I am hiding the things and anybody on right click can unhide. So what's the point? Better you should keep it open and send it across. Why to hide this? Hide in such a way nobody can unhide that. Then it makes sense. Do you agree with me? Of course, yes. So what you can do, I'll tell you. No need to go and individually hide or unhide operations. You should do like this. Okay. So what you can do over here, I'll tell you. See, I'll tell you a beautiful option. Start working with me. Go to the file menu, and there in the left side, you could see our categories are there. And if you see the last options is there, yeah, you can go for that. Or if it is showing more, you can go and explore more. So when I go to options tab, it will take me to the backstage view of your Microsoft Excel, where you could see we have a category called advanced. And when you select this advanced category, there is a scroll bar, which is going to appear in the right side of your dialog box. Just scroll it down, somewhere in the middle or the center, you'll be finding a display options will be there. In that display group, within that, you'll be finding a subgroup called display options for this workbook. And the third tab, if you look at very closely, what it shows, show sheets tabs. By default, it's on. All of you will be having by default on only. Only thing is you have to deactivate this. And once you deactivate, click OK. With immediate effect, you will be finding all these sheets, whatever it was displaying, it will be hidden. Except you, nobody will be ever be knowing that how many sheets you have prepared, how many pivot you have designed, where is your working, where is your source data, except you, nobody will be knowing. So people will have no other choice except watching your data, what you are showing to the people. So this is how you should manage your window interface whenever you go for your dashboard. Hope it is working so far, whatever we have done.
This sheets were selected one by one, sheets, and then file menu
No,
was
no need to select
selected.
any sheets. No need to select any sheets. Directly go to file menu, options,
Okay.
then advanced, scroll down, display, display options for this workbook, and then show sheet tabs.
Okay. Good. What is the reason that this dashboard just remained and the other went? Usually, technically, this dashboard sheet also should be hidden, right?
No, not necessary. See, people what looking at there, that is there in the dashboard. There is no point showing the other sheets, your workings, your source data. Nobody's interested. They don't have time to go through all these things. All right. So I believe everybody has got those stuffs and you're able to hide all these entire sheet tabs at once. Now kindly take a look at my screen. So once we are ready like this, suppose say my boss asked me, Pravas, are you ready for the presentation? I said yes. Then he has invited me to the presentation area and he asked me, start the show. So when I open the file like this, my boss is saying first that Pravas, we are not interested to see last 3 years data. Just show us only 2021. So I'll go to my chart filter over here. I will go and select 2021. So you could see the entire details of 2021. Those who are looking at interested in seeing the numbers or billions, millions, lakhs, crores, they can see my pivot for 2021. Those who do not have the time, but they want to know in which product we got the maximum revenue in 2021, GenX Nano, and which product we got the least revenue is called Sumo Gold. They also can make out. Now, suppose say I presented this data next to my boss, my chief marketing officer is sitting. He asked me another question saying that, Ramas, if this is the history of 2021, can you show me the performance of salesman 5 for the year? So we have a salesperson slicer. You can choose SM5 and ultimately the entire detail of salesman 5 for the year will be available. And when I presented something like this, My chief marketing officer, one more question he asked. What is that? Okay, if this is the history of Salesman 5 for the year 2021, can you show me his performance for the month of May? Yes, I'll go to month. There is a May option over here. I'll click that, and this is the whole status. Only one product he has sold, that to Hexa. To whom is Tuli Motors? Which country is Africa? And which category of products? Utility vehicles. On a click of button, everything is happening in one interface. So this is how, when you integrate your slicers, pivot table, pivot charts, that turn out to be a beautiful dashboard. So this is how we have understood how to create a pivot dashboard over there in Excel. Just try this. All these navigations are happening. Any questions, any doubt, feel free to ask. Yes, absolutely. And you can present it immediately if you have something more, or anybody is interested to see the detailed information. If they have time, you can showcase your workings or other pivots, your source data. That is on demand basis, not necessary. Yes, absolutely. No problem, Aishman. My pleasure. So this is how people, now you know the techniques, taking the live data, keep practicing. This is it. If you do this much, trust me, anybody, whoever is watching in the audience side, they will be very happy and they will appreciate your work. And sometimes some people will definitely ask a question. Did you do all these things in Excel? Yes. Because people have the belief these things only possible if you are there in Power BI. But if you know the tool properly, in Excel also you can do the wonders. But people don't explore that. That is the only trouble. Anyway, now coming back to restoring the data. So whichever the slicers you have operated with, you go to the top right corner, you find a clear filter button that you have to click and your data will start restoring. Similarly, going to our chart, the year also you have to clear. Now, what are the other things we have to bring it back? Keeping your cursor anywhere in a blank cell, go to your view tab and then grid lines, formula bar, headings, all these things we had deactivated earlier. We have to bring it back. And what are the other things? Like our sheet tabs, same operation, going to file, options, advanced, scroll down somewhere in the middle, display, and display options for this workbook and show sheet tabs. And click OK. Okay. So this is how people we have understood how to create a beautiful dashboard in pivot table by connecting all these elements, our slicers, pivot table, pivot charts. Save all your files. If at all any doubt, queries are there, do let me know. Or if you have any questions in your mind, please ask, get it clear before proceeding further. All right. So I believe we all are clear, but here, just stay focused, people. Sometimes some set of people, they will take an objection. You know where? They will say, Prabhas, everything is fine, but I just don't want to see this data. They will be taking an objections with our tabular data or pivot table. Now, they don't understand all those things. They simply say, do this, do that, take this, remove this, all this kind of stuff. Well, now if I remove this, my other things will be definitely collapsed because everything is depending upon the pivot table only. So in that case, how to satisfy those people, those who are taking an objection on this point? What I suggest is people, when somebody has a unwanted demand like this, don't be worried, don't be panic, don't do anything in front of them. What you can do, I'll tell you, simply take this chart and cover your data. They don't want to see the data, right? So we are not going to show them. That's it. Don't waste your premium time just to satisfy the unwanted demands. And if they want to operate, let them operate. If they want to see how much from the sedans, so click on the sedans, all the details of sedans. Now sedans from, suppose say Switzerland, how much it is, just click on this and it is ready. Cool. So this is how people always try to act smart. Don't waste your quality time just to satisfy all in the audience side. It's very difficult to satisfy our audience. Trust me. They will ask sometimes the impossible questions also, but they don't know whether it is feasible or not. So you don't need to be worried about this. I'm just trying hard over there, make them happy. Okay. So pivot 9. I believe now you all are clear in pivot 9. Right. Now go to pivot table number 6. Pivot table number 6. Holding the control button, drag it to the right. You got another pivot ready, naming pivot table number 10. So here, keeping your cursor in this pivot table, just right click and go for show field list because we are not getting that pivot fields in the right side, that box is missing. So right click on pivot and go for show field list. Okay. Now from this, you can notice our salesperson work is over. You can simply remove that, go to salesperson field and deactivate the checkbox. Okay. Kindly confirm once your pivot 10 is ready up to this state. All right. Now, kindly take a look and understand one concept. See, since afternoon, you would have noticed we have created many more pivot tables over here. So basically, in one Excel sheet, one pivot table is there and one unique story we have presented. Yes. Now, what if you have got more than one pivot table and more than one story? If it is there, how to present it? And give a more or less BI kind of model feeling, business intelligence model feeling to the audience. So that is what we're going to work. Will be very, very informative. Stay focused. So we have got our pivot. Select that, copy it, Control C. Leaving one or two rows down, paste it. So first we did copy paste. Check. When you go for copy paste, your pivot is getting pasted and you are seeing the pivot table fields box in the right side also. All right. Now here, once we have this, though we have got copied and pasted people, but these are two different pivot tables. Yes, information wise same, but nature wise, these are two different pivot tables. Now, the question is how to explore that. If you remember, the moment we have worked with our first pivot table, I told you there is a gray color box within that pivot name was there. And I told you this is a unique name. So let's go and explore. Just watch my screen first. I keep my cursor in the first pivot table, right click on that from the bottom second option, pivot table options. If I go and explore, what it shows me, pivot table 1. So this is my first pivot table's name. Okay. I'll go and do the same from the below pivot table, right click pivot table option. Is it showing a different name? I may be having 13, 15, you might be having 25, 30, could be the case, no issues, but is it of two different names, though we copied or pasted? Definitely, yes. So remember this too, okay? So now the question is over here. There is no point having same information in the both the pivot tables, okay? So what you can do, keep your cursor in the below pivot table and remove product description and then bring customer in that row area. Remove product description and bring customer to that row area. To give a different feeling to the audience, go to the design and change the color. So we did two things. In the below pivot table, remove product description. We brought customer in the row area. We have gone to design and change the colors. So one pivot table, product wise last 3 years revenue data. Another pivot table, customer-wise last 3 years revenue data. Once it is ready, kindly confirm, then I'll proceed. So I got to confirmation. How about others? All right, now take a look. Just watch my screen. See, I have taken in this below pivot table, if you look at, I have taken the customer and based on that 3 years data. Now, I have taken maximum 10 to 15 or 20 customers. But do you believe that in any industry there is a restrictions about the number of customers? No, not at all. So probably if you take a real-time data, you might be dealing with 200 or more than 2000 customers. Now, if you take your customer entirely into the row area, you'll be landing up with a pivot table having 2000 row items. But how to present it? So here you have to be careful. First of all, we are preparing or presenting to the audience, not for us, right? Do you believe that audience has the patience to go through your 2000 line items? Do they have that much of time? No way. Or are they interested to see your 2000 items? Not at all. Then what's the point? Why you need to show all these details? So what they're interested, top 10 customers, top 5 customers. This is what they want to see. So now just see how to present from my entire data only top 5 customers over here. What you can do, go to the customer filter. See, we have a customer filter, and there you have an option called value filters. So when you go to value filters, in the bottom, you have an option called top 10. So when you go to top 10 over here, then a dialog box appears and choose instead of 10, you go for 5. Just 5, you change number and click OK. You got your top 5 customers records. Right? Similarly, go to your product and take top 5 products. So go to value filters, top 10, and here I go for top 5. So one table, top 5 product wise last 3 years revenue, the other table, top 5 customer wise revenue data, right? So kindly confirm all these are ready. Now, between the first and second pivot table or below pivot table, whatever the row items or blank row items are there, leaving 1 or 2 row items, just select the rest and go for delete. Okay. Now this pivot table field right side, it is of no use. We can remove that by closing this box. And now keep your cursor in the first pivot table. Go to your pivot table analyze or analyze tab. Towards your right, you have pivot chart. Click OK and take this pivot chart, little bit spacing you can have it between the pivot and the chart over here. Okay. And go to the below pivot table, do the same stuff and maintain that uniformity. And as I told you, when you have the chart in place, what you need to do? First, go to design and take the last tile, right? Then remove grid lines. Similarly, go to the below chart, go to design and take the last tile and click the plus symbol, remove the grid lines. So two pivot table, two pivot charts are ready. Kindly confirm. So once it is ready, next step, just watch my screen for a minute. I'll take my cursor to the first pivot table. I'll go to my analyze or pivot table analyze. There's an option called insert slicer. Okay. I'll go for that and I'll choose, suppose I want to see my region wise data. I have selected that slicer and I clicked OK. Now this slicer, once it is appearing over here, what I'm going to do, I'll little bit resize the window and I will extend it from the bottom. So now it is arranged in that space, whatever I have created between these two slicers. Okay. Now, if you wish, you can little bit make some colorful changes by going to slicer and choose some colors over here. Now, take a look. When I go for selecting any particular country data, if I want to watch, I go UK, what happens? Which pivot and which pivot chart is getting an impact? Only in the first case. The below pivot table and pivot chart getting remain idle. So there is no point presenting the data or statistical information, making it stat over here like this. So whenever I go and operate any of the slicer, any region, all these four objects should reflect or do the changes or get an impact. Then only it make a lot of sense. So what you can do first, let's go and create this slicer first. Just do that first. Create the region slicer. So once your slicer is ready, take your mouse pointer to the slicer name and right click on that. What you need to do is there is an option where you'll be getting called report connections. What is that? Report connections. Just see. And when you go and click that report connections, it will take you to a dialog box where you could see all this pivot table, whatever we have designed in this entire workbook. And technically, whichever the pivot is getting connected to that slicer, that checkbox alone is on. And where it is available? In pivot 10 sheet tab. So in pivot 10, we have got two tables, but only one is connected. So you need to give your connections to the another table also. And if you see all the pivot table names are available, what we have explored, and click OK. And see the beauty now, any point of time to see any particular country data, say UK. So UK, only 2019 business is there. So these are the top five products from for UK. And these are my top five customers of UK. If I go for Belgium, so Belgium 2021 only business is there. So top five product, top five customers. Can you see that? Looks cool. Yeah. So more or less, are we giving a BI model kind of feeling people to the audience? So they will be definitely happy watching that. And this is how, when you connect multiple pivot tables, you can bring up a beautiful story that is going to take your presentations to the next level. So this is what mostly we do in Power BI in the larger scale. But yes, we do have the same options in Excel. Only thing is you have to explore the tool more. So check it out. All these things are happening. Any doubt, any queries, feel free to ask. Right? So this is how we have completed our story of pivot table number 10 people. Any doubt, any queries? If you have, you can ask me. We can't say Aishman like that. As I told you, see, Excel, though you have got 10 lakhs 48 576 rows item to handle, but when it goes to 1 lakh records, Excel slows down the process because everything is trying to load the data in the front end. And that is the only reason why Power BI has come into force in the market in 2015, just to handle the large volume of data. So when you want to do some historical trend analysis by taking the last 7 years or 10 years of data, or you want to go for forecasting, budgeting, or you want to do a lot of statistical calculations, or you want to gain more insights in terms of visual dashboards and all, then Power BI will be the right tool because 0% data loss. You can collaborate with multiple workers, your colleagues, and you can showcase your data. And globally, wherever you go, You don't need to carry your data, just you take your credentials and log in and you can showcase your reports. So that is what the beauty, that is a different applications altogether. But yes, more or less what you get it at the output, you can get it in Excel as well, up to some extent. So what I'm trying to say, why I'm emphasizing upon Power BI, because don't stop here. Excel is the base, Excel is the beginning. So as and when some new application comes in the market, you have to upgrade and upscale your skills. Then only you can sustain in the corporate world. Else you will be always in the backseat. Trust me, don't take it wrong, but this is what now very challenging in the corporate world. The next generation, whatever I mean, people that are coming up, you would notice that in their academics itself, they have got Python, they have got SQL, they have got big data, R, they have got Power BI, everything. So obviously they are quite competent enough. Their speed is bit different, and they're immediately going up the ladder in our corporate world very easily, because what they are doing, they're able to express it immediately. So this is the only reason why I would always suggest learning Excel. Don't stop there. Give some time for yourself to learn, but learn. Always keep learning. Okay. Anyway, so this is it from our day three side, people, about the pivot table and taking the live data. Keep practicing. If you have any queries or doubts, you can ask me. You can drop me a mail, no issues. But you have to practice hard. And I believe that the session was informative as usual. What's say? What's your opinion? Did you get more insights from pivot?
It was too
Prabhasji,
insightful
any
for us.
Yeah.
Prabhasji, Jagdish
Uh,
here. Anything on nested functions, like some product formulas or something we'll be learning?
yeah, some product we learn in our day one how to use some product. Nested formula we'll be learning tomorrow. So we
Okay.
have our tomorrow's agenda. We are going to learn more functions, formulas over there, how to use combination of if logic, how to use the dashboard functions. Then we'll go for charts and graphs. That will be our tomorrow's agenda.
Okay.
Prabhat,
Yes. Yeah, no
sorry.
problem, Aishman. Yeah, Aishman, tell me.
So, Samita, I'm sorry I'm speaking over you. So, Prabhasji, so would it be possible? I mean, I'm not sure if it is so much to ask. So, you have your own Excel sheet on which you show the tricks. Yeah. So, would it be possible for you to share that workbook as well as a master sheet? We have our own. We have the sample sheet. We have the worksheet on which we work. But if it would be all right for you to share the one that on which you are working, so we have a reference, how in case we miss anything.
No problem. No problem. That will be entirely shared at the end of day four. Day
Okay.
one, day two, day three, day four, everything I will consolidate and I'll send it across. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Prabhat.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Sumit, you were saying something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was saying that this is too insightful for us at least, because we
Okay.
know how to analyze the data in Excel to some extent. We all
Uh-huh.
know, right? But it
Mhm.
was something new to learn that we can use the Excel for the presentation as well. We were always
Yeah.
taking the numbers to PowerPoint and then playing around with charts over there, which was too time consuming and manual efforts were there, right? So knowing
Right.
all these things are really helpful for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So I'm also glad I could leave some takeaways, but as I told you, keep practicing, taking your live data. Nobody will demand for all these things, but from your side, when you do it, see, one thing you would have learned, you would have noticed, I'm creating multiple pivot table. I'm not working around or play around with the same pivot table and again and again and confusing people. So if my boss is looking for something, I'm making always ready one pivot. If my management is looking for something, another pivot is ready all the time. Only thing is, I have to keep doing the refresh. Whenever there is a change in the data, I have to keep doing the refresh. And just imagine here, one more beauty is when you have multiple pivot tables, multiple reports like this, we have got a very beautiful option. You can refresh all the pivot table at once. Refresh all. It was not earlier. Earlier only refresh was there. So individually we had to refresh. It was very lot painful. But now you have got all the refresh, all options. Okay.
Yeah.
So keep trying, keep doing something different, try to make something different and present it to the people, because nowadays what is you know numbers anybody can present, but how you are presenting your numbers in a different way, that makes a lot of difference. So
Correct.
you have to be very, very, I mean, vigilant. You have to be more visionary about your numbers. So how you are going to present it. Now, I showed you one tool called how to visualize our data. Different options like icon sets, spark lines in day two, if you recall, and data bar style. All these things I showed you. So just try to explore more on this. And if you ask me, Prabhas, where I should get all this information at once, I showed you in the day one some 10 website names I explained, right? So whenever time permits, go to all these websites and you'll be getting a lot of insights over there. All right,
Yeah. And Prabhas,
fine.
how
Yeah,
about analyzing the multiple sheets? Like, are we covering that tomorrow?
multiple
I mean, data has,
sheets.
yeah, data have in multiple sheets, spreadsheets.
Right. If you want, I can explain, but only thing is you should have 365 at your workplace. Like those
Yeah.
who are having 365, for them, I will explain. But tomorrow, if that is the case, then we have to extend our session bit of 15 to 20 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, it's okay for me.
I mean, I'm just giving the information to all that those who are interested to learn how to consolidate multiple Excel sheets, being a non-programmer of Excel, or how to prepare a pivot out of multiple Excel sheets. We are going to discuss tomorrow. Make a note of that. But at the end of the session, whatever our regular topics will cover, and then we'll go for that. So it will take 15 to 20 minutes max. And those who are having 365, they can stay back. It's not a compulsory one. It's the optional. So those who are interested, they can stay back and they can learn. I will explain that. Okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
No problem. All
Prabhasji,
right. Yeah.
yeah, last thing, I mean, just I'm not sure if you remember, but I did call you a few months back, 6, 7 months back.